So last time I was at an estate sale, I went on the very first day, right as it opened, and it was a crowded, vibrant, dynamic experience. Not my favorite kind of experience, I'll be honest. So today we're flipping that thing, we're reversing it. We're here on the last day, pretty close to closing time, and I'm curious to see what kind of treasures abound. In the pictures, there was this amazing wall of bookshelf cubbies that I kind of just want to see in person because it looked amazing. And I also saw that there was some very chunky silver jewelry, which is the main prey for today. So come along, let's go experience someone else's treasures and perhaps make some of them our own. Super cute. This is definitely handmade. Tiny, so cute. I just opened a cabinet and I think I found somebody's little stash. Let me show you. There's some vintage, like, snow shoes. Made in Norway. Crazy. You're supposed to kiss. Treasure, obviously. Box of DVDs. Let's see what we got. What's that story? Pride and Prejudice. The Penguin Story. If you've seen one of my estate sale videos before, you know I like to wax a little sentimental about them. And we're gonna do exactly that, but really quick. I want to introduce you to the sponsor of this week's video, and then we'll be back with the nostalgic estate sale observations, okay? Okay, hold on one second. Fall is my favorite season for many reasons. One that ranks pretty highly among them is it's the start of cozy sock season. And I think the perfect sock choice can take any outfit to the next level. So luckily, with Bombas, who's sponsoring today's video, thank you Bombas, you can look good and feel good. If you're not familiar, Bombas makes the #1, #2, and #3 most requested clothing items in shelters, socks, underwear, and t-shirts. And they donate one item with every purchase. I personally love my Bombas when they've got a little merino in there. These are the merino cashmere blend socks, and they're my favorite socks. They feel like wearing a sweater on your feet, and you may be wondering, well, Kathleen, what are you wearing if you're not wearing your favorite socks? Don't worry, I'm still wearing Bombas. But seriously, look how fuzzy and beautiful these are. They look real good with a loafer. And to try something new, I also snagged myself a new pair of merino wool blend knee-high socks. How perfect for cold weather outfits. I'm just so chuffed about them. And if you haven't been able to order Bombas before, they now offer international shipping to over 200 countries. So you can feel good and do good with Bombas, knowing that your purchase is doing some real good. New customers get 20% off their first purchase. Just go to bombas.com/Kathleen and use code Kathleen20 at checkout. Thank you, Bombas. You're the best. Now back to the video. Welcome back. So I think I was just talking about how I like to wax a little sentimental about the estate sales I go to. The more I go to, the more I realize how special they are. And I feel like they're kind of taken for granted sometimes. I almost feel like we should elevate them to the level of life event status similar to, I don't know, graduating college, getting your first job, getting married, you know. At least where I live in the United States, I feel like there aren't a lot of formalized traditions or life events that center around your older years. And there also aren't a whole lot of traditions that center around grief. I have no idea the story of the people who lived in this home. All I'm saying is I feel like these estate sales could be treated with a little more respect. I'd be lying if I said it didn't bother me a little bit to see people rushing around and buying up everything of quote-unquote value to sell on eBay without really taking a moment of appreciation and reverence for the reason why we're here. And I can totally be projecting. I don't know these people, I don't know their minds, and they could have their own creed of respect that they're following, and maybe I'm just salty because I know there's someone who buys up all the jewelry very first thing on the first day, and that's why there wasn't any cool chunky jewelry for me to see. So maybe I'm the selfish one. Regardless, most of the items of value, again, quote unquote, were gone by the time I got here, and sometimes that means that the items left are the ones with the most sentimental value. The collection of Katharine Hepburn books, the 40-year-old hand-knitted kid sweater with the moth holes. And it makes me wonder, what makes something valuable? The people who lived here had their own ideas about it, and so do the shoppers attending the estate sale. For example, there's a kid running around repeatedly saying, "Dad, I don't think they even had kids. There aren't any toys." He was flabbergasted that there would not be toys in the house. So what designates home to people? To this kid, you have to have toys in your house. That's just common sense. I mean, I remember being a kid and my toys, my stuffed animals were my prized possessions. And now I think about my own childhood home. Were there objects in it that made it mine, that made it make sense, that made it home? I had this white furniture set in my bedroom as a kid. A bed frame, a dresser, a desk, a shelf. I remember picking it out with my mom. I think I was probably like 7. It was white, and we swapped out some of the dresser knobs for these cute ceramic gingham ones. I can picture all of the different configurations we tried in that room with those pieces. And that furniture set stayed in my room for the next 10, 11 years until I graduated from high school and moved out. And then once I had moved out and my parents had moved to a different home, that furniture set moved with them into what they now used as an office. And I remember the first time that I saw that set in that new house without the context of my childhood around it. My manga books and stuffed animals that I stared at every day were replaced with files and address books. I remember seeing this furniture without my fingerprints all over it, and I felt a seismic shift. I felt this kind of protective feeling or a loss of ownership, but also a bit of an untethering because I didn't want them anymore. I don't know how many times my mom offered them to me. Sorry, Mom. And as much enmeshment I felt with that bedroom and those furnishings, I now had my own furniture in my own home, and I was experiencing so much newness in my adult life that I didn't feel like I had the space to welcome back anything old. It was strange, my instinctual grasping towards the past, and then that realization that I had outgrown my need for it. I wonder how many iterations and waves of home these people made together. I wonder if that dad explained to that kid that there were definitely toys here once, but as hard as it is to fathom, the objects we value so highly will change, and you don't take them all with you. So a lot of really high quality stuff here, like Henry Bendel cashmere sweaters, other cashmere sweaters of other prestige. I just really don't need much. So I just sorted through all of my stuff and got rid of most of it. And even the stuff I have, I'm like, do I need that? When I initially picked up this hamper at the estate sale, I did not realize there was a train on it. Would you like to see what I ended up getting? It's actually been over a week since I went, and all this stuff has just been sitting in this hamper. So I kind of forget too. Oh, there's some good stuff in here. First and foremost, you know I love vintage dishware. At an estate sale a couple months ago, I got a set of vintage wooden bowls, and I love them. And at this estate sale, there was first of all so much ceramic work because I believe the wife was a potter, a ceramicist. So many cool statues. I don't know how I keep stumbling upon these estate sales that have a very crafty twist to them. It might just be the kind of clientele that works with this specific company. Sales by Holly, if you're in Columbus. You're probably familiar, they're the best sales around. Not sponsored, I just love them. Anyways, oftentimes they're very crafty, and this was no exception. These were not made by the owner. These are from a company called Bennington Potters in Vermont, which has been open for a long time, still open. And there was this set of like charcoal, marbly dishes that I thought would look so good with our wooden dishes. And I was right. This perfect yogurt slop bowl. This, also perfect yogurt slop bowl, if we're honest. I like enamel dishware that has this kind of splatter pattern on it. It's very, I don't know, kind of farmhouse, kind of crafty. But I like this black on black. It felt a little more tonal, a little more moody. There's 2 of these bowls. I just ate pasta out of the other one. So it's nasty. Big fan. Big fan. And then, oh my gosh, I think the husband was a fellow big head, such as myself, because there were a bunch of his hats in his office, and they were perfect for an XL head, such as myself. Look at this little felted, I believe knitted cap in this forest green color. I think I picked the darkest corner of my house to record in. That's life. And I wanted to style it almost like a sailor cap. I know sailors' caps are kind of flat on top. It's pretty cute. And I could also do one of these. Warm, stylish, fits my noggin. Thank you very much to whoever made this. And then I got some random linens. First, I found these 2 pretty adorable pillowcases. There's like a subtle smoky gray, almost lavendery polka dot that I thought would be nice to, you know, literally use as pillowcases or to make something with. You never know what's gonna happen to you if you're a bed linen and you're entering my domicile. I might cut you up. And I'm sorry about that. Also got just a dish rag for the kitchen. It's beautiful, great condition. This stuff's pretty boring, but you know what? That's okay. There's some not boring stuff here at the bottom. This not included. This is boring. It's just a metal plant rolly guy. It's a little rusty, needs a little sand. But these are so annoyingly expensive, especially a metal one that's nice and heavy. If I can get one for virtually free, secondhand, with a little bit of mid-century style to it, you know I'm gonna. Okay, if you're Gus, you have to look away. Gus, you're probably watching this on a second monitor and not really paying attention. I'm gonna need you to pay attention for a second. Eyes on me. Now eyes off me. Look away. Okay, so I got this book of lures, like fishing lures, and I like to use these types of books as wrapping paper for like little trinkets around the holidays and birthdays, or to make cards. And it's always fun if it features a topic that the other person likes. So you will also be cut up. I think we can all agree that if you come into my house, you might get cut up. Living creatures are excluded from this. You can rest easy. Anyways, here are the 2 freakish items. Are you ready? You know those pants or those jackets that are from like the 40s and 50s that college grads would get, and they'd have all their friends write on them, and they're like kind of a trend now and people are recreating them. I think they're pretty cool. Obviously a piece of history. And I found something very similar that is not clothing, but is, we're gonna say a tomato or perhaps an apple. Probably an apple. This is a little vintage pouch that has a bunch of signatures on it. Jim Kay, Evie Hartman, Penny Como. I'm so curious to know who this group of people is. Was it a religious group? Was it a chess club? A travel band of companions? I don't know. I just thought this was so special. I've never seen something like this. And I'm so curious to know what this was used for, because it's a pretty strange size for a pouch. You know, there could be a total history of these things and I'm just missing it because I'm not aware. I don't even know what I'm gonna put in here, but I just thought this was really special and pretty cute. Okay, and I don't know if people are gonna understand this one. I'm not sure I totally understand it. I got some freak shoes, some freaky little shoes, because don't they look like Kyrie's shoes from Kingdom Hearts 1? You can't tell me they don't. Maybe it's because I can't be normal and just wear normal sneakers without feeling out of place. We've got like a little watercolory, cybery texture on here. We've got a toggle, a transparent Game Boy-esque toggle. We've got a little detached back. It's a slip-on. This is kind of freaky. It's like a Keen, but make it 2004 Kingdom Hearts coded, which perfect. Listen, I think that people say they like a freaky shoe. I know it was like freaky shoe summer, but then when they're actually faced with a freaky little shoe, they're like not brave enough. I don't know if I'm brave enough, but they're comfortable. Anyways, let's talk about this train hamper. From here, it looks like a kind of cool, classic-y LL Bean magazine-esque, and we've been needing a new hamper for our room. Thought it might add kind of a nice classic-y, vintagey edge to the decor. The train, we all know I'm a train girl. Okay, the train can stay. It was just a surprising 4-year-old boy-esque addition that I wasn't expecting, but I'm not necessarily mad at. And finally, can't believe I almost forgot this. This is such a strange collection of items because we're going from 4-year-old boys, train hamper, to cursed vessel. Yeah, I believe that the owner of the house made this, and it was outside in their garden. And I was trying to figure out for the longest time, like, what this was used for, because there is a hole over there. There's a hole on top. And I was like, is that drainage? Do I pot a plant in there? Is it like an umbrella stand? But I think we figured out that it might be like an olive oil vessel because there is some other olive oil vessels in the house. Either way, I thought it would be cool to put some dried sticks and leaves in. Look at those legs. Those are good legs. We got a vintage ceramic vessel. We got a beautiful bowl hat, some cool dishware, some freaky little shoes, a hamper, and it was half off day, so I got everything for 20 bucks. I call that a grand slam success, I think. That's it. Thanks so much for coming to this estate sale with me. I think it's fun to go to one like once a month or so, just to see what we can find. And a lot of people have asked me before, how do you find estate sales? Well, first of all, there are just some good estate sale companies in my city, so I just subscribe to their newsletter or what have you and get notifications when they happen. But also, you can just go to estatesales.net, I believe it is, and it'll show you all the ones on a map around you. It's very simple. Highly recommend if you haven't tried it before. I feel like it would be crazy to end this video without telling you about my shirt. I literally got it today, so of course I had to put it on immediately. One of my favorite apparel designers, my Fanwy. It's one of one marbled apparel. It's so cool. Just did a Halloween drop. So I, of course, had to get a spooky spider shirt. I like to get myself a little treat around my birthday every year. And this was my little treat for myself. I think it's so cool. Speaking of that, next week's video, I believe, will be released on my birthday. So get ready for that. We're either doing something Halloweeny and spooky or we're doing something handcrafted and cool. And whichever one is not next week, we'll be quickly following it. So don't worry if both of those things sound fun. They sound fun to me. And speaking of birthdays, I do have to give you a recommendation for a game. So there's a game by the creators of A Short Hike, and it's all about a yearly pumpkin festival where you are a little ghost and you get to carve a pumpkin and wander around and go on a spooky tractor ride and hang out with your friends. But the best part is there's a haunted house in this game that is basically an escape room that you do with your friends. It was so fun. Tons of puzzles, kind of spooky. Make sure to turn jump scares on. You're welcome. It took us like 2 hours. It was like a great evening of fun, and it's free. It's really cool. Check it out. All that to say, we did the escape room and I haven't been able to stop thinking about escape rooms since then. So I am in fact doing an escape room for my birthday. So if you don't hear from me, I didn't escape. I'm still there. All right, enough. I think you've had enough. I've had enough. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to do so. I would appreciate it. And I love you. Have a great week. Goodbye.